6 habits that make people dislike you. Have you ever felt like you can't seem to get a break in love or friendship? Have you ever tried to find ways to meet people you might resonate with, but still had no luck? If that's the case, then take a long, hard look in the mirror, because it's possible that your own habits are to blame. In today's video, we'll review the 6 habits that might make others dislike you. That's right, we will look into those annoying habits that could harm your chances at finding love or building deep relationships. These habits can be a real turnoff and the reason behind your hard luck. But don't worry, we will not judge you. We're here to assist you in becoming the most likable version of yourself. With a little self-awareness and a few changes in your habits, you can quickly begin developing better, more lasting connections. And before we begin, please press that red button to subscribe to our channel and comment, "I've subscribed," so we can thank you. We suggest you do it now so you don't miss out on the amazing content we bring our viewers weekly. Now start taking notes as we dive deep into the habits that make people dislike you. Number 6, arrogance and narcissism. Picture this. You're dating someone who can't stop talking about themselves. They go on and on about their achievements, their talents, and how incredible they are. Sound familiar? That's because we've all encountered someone like this before. Someone who is arrogant and narcissist makes us feel small and insignificant. How do you feel about that person after that? Yeah, you don't like them at all. Arrogance and narcissism are 2 habits that often go hand in hand. Someone arrogant or narcissist on a date may dominate the conversation, steer it towards themselves, and dismiss your thoughts and experiences. They may frequently interrupt you to brag about their own accomplishments or to make you feel inferior. You want to feel heard and understood when you're out on a date with someone. You want to feel connected with the other person and develop a genuine, authentic relationship. But it's difficult to feel anything other than annoyed and unimportant when someone continuously talks about themselves and neglects your feelings. If you're struggling with arrogance or narcissism, you must take a step back and analyze your conduct. Why do you need to continuously brag about yourself or put people down? Develop your empathy and listening abilities and strive to make genuine connections with the people in your life. Remember, dating and relationships are all about mutual respect and understanding. By letting go of this desire to continuously talk about yourself and instead focus on making genuine relationships with others, you may quickly become more likable. Number 5, constantly interrupting others. Have you ever been conversing with someone who won't let you say anything? You begin to speak, and before you realize it, they have cut you off and are speaking over you. Isn't it frustrating? Believe it or not, this practice of constantly interrupting people can be a major turnoff in dating and relationships. Interrupting people is a bad habit caused by several factors, including a desire to be heard, a lack of self-awareness, or plain old rudeness. Despite these reasons, it's critical to understand that interrupting others is disrespectful and can make the other person feel small and unimportant. Suppose you're on a date with someone who constantly interrupts you when you try to speak. You begin to tell them about your job. Still, they interrupt you with a story about their work experience before you finish. You try to bring up a topic of interest, but they instantly begin discussing their interests. They aren't interested in what you say and are solely concerned with themselves. They can be so focused on highlighting their point that they don't know that they're interrupting you. If this conduct persists in a relationship, it can lead to emotions of resentment and disconnection. If you feel like you are the person we described in the example, try being more self-aware of your actions. Step back and actively listen to what the other person is saying. Let them finish their sentences before interrupting. If you feel the urge to interject, ask for permission or wait for a natural pause in the conversation. Number 4, complaining all the time. Third bad habit that makes people dislike you is constantly complaining. Do you constantly whine about everything, from the weather to your job to your love life? Believe it or not, your pessimistic attitude may be driving people away. But don't worry, there are things you can do to modify this bad habit and become a more likable person. It's easy to become caught up in a cycle of whining about everything that goes wrong. But the truth is, no one wants to be around someone who is constantly negative and complaining. Listening to someone who constantly focuses on the unpleasant aspects of life can be draining, making it difficult to build healthy relationships. If you find yourself constantly complaining, it's critical to identify this behavior's impact on your relationships. You could be turning away potential friends or romantic partners without even realizing it. Assume you're dating someone who can't stop whining about their job, coworkers, and their boss. They always complain about how miserable they are and how nothing ever goes their way. They have a pessimistic attitude that makes connecting with them on a deeper level difficult. You will not ever want to go out with them again. And if you are the one that complains, nobody would like to be around you, too. So what can you do to change this habit? Begin by focusing on the positive parts of your life, no matter how minor they may seem. Make a conscious effort to quit complaining and instead seek answers to your difficulties. And when you're in a social situation, try to be cheerful and engaging. Remember that the energy you bring into a room can significantly impact others around you. You can become more likable and attract positive relationships by emphasizing the better parts of life and becoming more cheerful. Number 3, being boastful or overly competitive. Let's talk about the fourth habit of why being boastful and overly competitive might make people dislike you. It's actually quite straightforward. When you frequently brag about your accomplishments and compare yourself to others, you may appear cocky and even insecure. It's fine to be proud of your accomplishments, but repeatedly shoving them in the faces of others can make people dislike you. Furthermore, being extremely competitive can make people think you're not a team player and only care about yourself, especially when you're with someone who might be interested in you. This habit can be a major put-off. When we want to date someone, we always want them to care for us and others. But if you're boastful and overly competitive, they may not feel comfortable being around you. So how do we get out of this bad habit? The first stage is to develop humility. Instead of constantly talking about yourself, try to concentrate on listening to others and genuinely caring about their life. When you do discuss your accomplishments, be humble and grateful. Acknowledge that you did not succeed alone and express gratitude to those who assisted you. Another method to break this behavior is to prioritize collaboration over competition. Instead of always trying to outdo your peers, attempt to collaborate with them and find methods to benefit each other. This will not only help you develop stronger relationships, but it will also lead to greater long-term success. And that brings us to our fifth habit. But before we talk about that, we would highlight another bad habit that some of our viewers might have: not giving us a like, even when they find our video interesting. And you know how important it is to let go of this habit. So just break the cycle and give us a thumbs up. Number 2, lack of empathy. Have you ever been in the presence of someone who doesn't seem concerned about your feelings? Perhaps you've tried to tell them something intimate, only to be met with a blank stare or a dismissive comment. Isn't it frustrating? If you lack empathy, you may turn people off and limit your ability to form meaningful relationships. Empathy is the ability to understand and share another person's feelings. It's a vital part of having healthy relationships because it allows us to connect with others on a deeper level and build a sense of understanding and support. When we lack empathy, we appear cold, indifferent, and self-centered to others, leading them to dislike us. If you feel like you are not empathetic, start taking small steps to incorporate this habit. When someone confides in you about something personal, listen carefully and show genuine concern and interest in their well-being. You can also develop empathy in your daily life by volunteering, donating to charity, or simply doing kind things for others. Number 1, gossiping. We've all done it at some point. Gossiped about someone behind their back. Gossiping can be appealing, whether it's spreading a hot story or simply venting about a frustrating interaction. But did you know that gossiping can hurt your relationships and make people dislike you? While it might seem like it's harmless venting, gossiping can damage your relationships in several ways. Consider a situation where you discovered that someone was gossiping about you. Probably didn't feel very good, did it? Not only can gossip harm the person being discussed, but can cause others to lose trust in you and harm your reputation. What can you do to eliminate this habit is to ask yourself how you would feel if someone were spreading rumors or talking about you behind your back. Additionally, redirect the conversation if someone tries to engage you in gossip. Change the subject, or simply refuse to participate. So that's it for today's video. We've covered 6 habits that can make people dislike you, and we've given you some tips on how to avoid them. So if you recognize any of these habits on yourself, don't worry. It's never too late to change and become a more likable person. Just follow our tips and you'll be good to go. And as always, if you enjoy this video, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Hence, you'll never miss out on our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.